digging out from danger.
It started out slow, but it's been building. Everybody's starting to get prepared.
As snow wallops a large part of the country, news evidence and more flights grounded.
We need to get to the bottom of it as quickly as possible.
After a serious scare in the air. Plus, former President Trump heads to the court to argue for presidential immunity. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Pamela Correa.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Today is Tuesday, January 9th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Much of the nation is snowed in this morning with a high in Miami today at 81 degrees. As the winter season continues, the United States faces high alerts on weather conditions currently making their east. Blizzards, tornadoes, and floods are affecting millions of Americans.
State officials are cautioning drivers to be safe. Amy Kiley from CNN News shares more about these conditions.
While some say let it snow, others want it to let up. Millions of Americans are under weather alerts today. A dangerous storm is pushing east after pummeling central states along the way. Kansas is under a state of disaster emergency declaration, and officials in many areas are asking drivers to be safe and be patient.
And we thank everyone who is heeding this advice to stay off the streets if they're able to do so.
You know, they're big trucks, they're loud, they're noisy. Just kind of give us some distance so, we can get our job done so you can get to where you're trying to get.
With such intense blizzards, it's hard for some community plow teams to keep up.
We've transitioned to a 24-hour day operation. All day long, we have people out working to clear snow.
Weather warnings are set to expire in central states today and in the Midwest tomorrow. Next, the Northeast is in for the snow. Farther south, strong winds bring the risk of tornadoes, while coastal areas could endure floods.
We're already having saltwater flooding, so we already know what's going to happen.
And in Washington state, a new winter storm warning starts today. I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Delays continue on the other side of the gate, where the Federal Aviation Administration continues its investigations with new evidence on the incident involving Boeing 737 MAX 9. CNN's Laura Aguirre has more on this story.
More accounts of those terrifying moments are coming to light.
I knew it was not just normal turbulence because the masks came down.
Initially, when the piece flew off, there was almost multiple explosions.
That piece, a refrigerator-sized fuselage door plug from Alaska Air 1282, was found Sunday in a Portland, Oregon yard, with more evidence turning up elsewhere.
Went to go for a walk today and found a phone belonging to an Alaska Airlines passenger sitting on the ground.
One of two phones the NTSB says have been found and turned in. But as new evidence emerges, critical pieces of the puzzle have been lost.
We're disappointed that the cockpit voice recorder was overwritten.
Crucial details on the recorder were erased automatically by new audio every 2 hours. The NTSB wants the FAA to extend that window.
From 2 hours to 25 hours, because we want to hear communications, noise, alerts on the flight deck, which may help us prevent future tragedies.
For now, the FAA has grounded more than 170 Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes worldwide as inspections and this investigation move forward.
Our focus right now is on this aircraft to determine what happened.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Today, we anticipate NASA to announce a months-long delay for the Artemis moon mission that originally was scheduled for last November. The mission aims to send 4 astronauts to orbit the moon for the first time since the end of the Apollo program. NASA's Inspector General hinted at the potential delays for the mission in a November report, but the mission is no longer expected to take place before 2025.
The manhunt for the suspect in a deadly shooting that took place at a Central Florida shopping mall days before Christmas is over. Our reporter Tony Atkins tells us police in Ocala made an arrest after a 2-hour standoff.
These moments show Albert Shale being taken into custody. Shale is the suspect in the deadly Paddock Mall shooting on December 23rd. David Barron was killed. A woman who was nearby was injured but is expected to be okay.
That Albert Shell Jr. is responsible for one of the more heinous acts that we've seen in Ocala in a long time. His criminal history alone tells me that he should never have been on the street to have been able to commit this crime.
Ocala police say Shell was found at a house about 20 miles southwest of Ocala in the Florida Highlands area. The police department also stayed vigilant, raising the reward for information leading to an arrest up to $20,000. Chief says tips definitely helped in this case.
I am confident that reward will be paid out. We are still sorting through a ton of these tips. We've received well over 100 tips, dozens and dozens, well over 100 tips in this case that certainly ended up helping to bring this case to resolution.
Ocala's new mayor, Ben Marciano, also weighed in, saying he was also glad to hear of the overnight arrest.
We are a resilient community, but we will not stand for acts of violence like this.
That was Tony Atkins from Watch 2 News. Albert Shell is charged with first-degree murder as well as attempted murder.
In less than a week, the first Republican presidential votes will be cast. The race's frontrunner, however, will be splitting his week between the campaign trail and 2 different courtrooms. Here's Ava McQuinn.
This week, the former president will be toggling back and forth from the campaign trail to the courtroom with a jam-packed schedule. On Tuesday, he will be in a D.C. courtroom where opening arguments will be held on his immunity claim. On Wednesday, he will be back in Iowa for a town hall event. And on Thursday, he will be in a New York City courtroom where the closing arguments in the civil fraud case against him, his sons, and the Trump Organization will begin.
You know, backstage, they say to me sometimes, sir, don't tell them that they're going to vote for you. That sounds so demeaning. I said, I got them $28 billion for their farmers. Of course they're going to vote.
All eyes are now on Iowa. Haley, DeSantis, Ramaswamy, and Trump all converged on Iowa over the weekend.
Now's the time to be active. Now's the time where you guys can make a difference.
With just 1 week remaining before the Iowa caucus, the GOP candidates are pouring millions of dollars into the first voting state, flooding the airwaves in an attempt to challenge former President Trump's considerable lead in the polls. Trump held a rally in Iowa on the 3rd anniversary of the January 6th Capitol attack, during which he gave his support for those jailed for their actions that day.
They ought to release the J6 hostages. They've suffered enough.
And raised eyebrows when he made this comment about the Civil War.
They could have been negotiated and they wouldn't have had that problem, but it was a hell of a time.
Republicans in Iowa vote at 7 p.m. next Monday.
This morning, Florida's Republican Party sits without a chairman after removing Christian Ziegler from his involvement in a sexual assault investigation. A majority of about 200 GOP members voted to remove Ziegler in a closed-door meeting on Monday. According to State Senator Blaise Ngolia, no one voted for Ziegler. The former party chairman was suspended by state party leadership in December and currently faces no criminal charges. However, Florida authorities are still investigating if Ziegler broke any laws for filming the sexual encounter.
A male driver is now in custody after crashing into the outside gates of the White House. This happened a little before 6 p.m., which caused roads in the area to be closed to traffic. President Joe Biden was not in the building at the moment of the incident and has no injuries have been reported. The Secret Service are still investigating the scene.
He tried to pull out a win without Jimmy Butler as they return home.
That's still ahead, and so is the story. A party in the streets for fans of college football, newly crowned national champions. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know. That's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Bill is a family man. He invests his money wisely and provides a good life for his children. Just one problem. He often opens emails from senders he doesn't know, and his computer is not password protected. One day, Bill checked his bank account and 94% of malware attacks originate from emails. Don't be like Bill. Take your cybersecurity seriously.
Student celebration in the streets of Ann Arbor, Michigan, carrying into the early morning hours. NRG Stadium hosted Michigan and Washington yesterday. The top two teams in the country faced off in the College Football National Championship.
The Wolverines got off to a hot start, scoring on their first two drives, both long rushing touchdowns by DeNova Edwards. Michigan had 14 points from those two touchdowns, and Washington only scored 13 in the whole game. Final score was Michigan 34 and Washington 13.
Yeah, took on all comers. Last one standing. It's a great feeling, and that's so happy for our players, for our parents.
Big celebrations on the streets of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Michigan finished the season 15-0 for the first time in the school's history.
This morning, the Heat get back on track against the Houston Rockets at home after a long West Coast trip. Bam Adebayo was a non-factor in this first half as he found himself in early foul trouble. The team was able to stay afloat behind 28 points from Tyler Hero and 44 from the bench. Adebayo would come back from the vengeance in the second half, scoring 18 of his 22 and finishing the night with yet another double-double. The final score, Heat 120, Houston 113. The Heat now find itself in a 5-way tie for the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. They will look to start climbing the ranks when they face Oklahoma City Thunder on Wednesday. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
Radcliffe Art and Design Incubator is the velocity accompanying the fellow's rudder, as in a boat. Unless there is movement or action, the planned direction is of little consequence. We encourage the creative ideas into action, and from the experience of doing, we critically assess the feedback, adjust, and set out to rediscover the potentialities of an entrepreneurial mindset.
Stan,
precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
I'm Pamela Correa. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.